Jimmy with Cuff and Stuff. Well, it's a cold, rainy, breezy morning in South Carolina, and we've got an event cooked to do. So, what I want to show you today, I've got something new that we're going to try out. I'm going to be using the vertical cabinet smoker. We're going to be burning wood, and here in the past I've gotten a little lazy with my pellet grill because I can take that pit boss and I can put it in it. I can sit in the house, watch football, do whatever I want to do, and monitor it on my phone. Well, the stick burners, whether it's an offset or a vertical type, doesn't matter. You got to babysit that thing. Now, you can use remote thermometers or whatever, and you can watch what it's doing, but to really keep an eye on your fire, you got to stay with it. So, we've been looking for a gadget that would take care of that. That wasn't just a thermometer, but something that would help regulate the temperature and whatnot. Now, a couple weeks ago, we did a review on ChefsTemp ProTemp Plus. That's this, okay? It is a remote thermometer that does a great job with internal and external temp. But that still didn't help us regulate temperature on our smoker, and we needed a few more things to happen with our wood smoker before it would become as smart as the pellet grills. Well, guess what? Hey, ChefsTemp has come out with something brand new. This is the ChefsTemp S1. And what's an S1? Well, this is going to bridge the gap between the two. This little gadget has a probe. It replaces one of your analog thermometers. I'm going to put it at the top closest to the cook on this cabinet, and I'll show you putting it in. And then basically you can sync it with the probe from the ProTemp, and it not only will give you the temp at where you've got it, but it'll do grade level too. And there are all kinds of settings and alarms and all kind of stuff this does. But one of the other things that it does do that really I like the best, they also came out with a little gadget they call the Brizo. This is it. It has a magnetic mount vent that you can open and close, but this interfaces with the S1, and so wirelessly, of course. Now you've got to have something to power this, so they send a little block, charging block with it, and also two different types of cords. One is USB to, I think that's USB-C, that plugs into it, which is what we're going to use today. And they also have a USB-C to USB-C, and this little thing will actually plug up to the ProTemp and use the battery off of it and use it as a power source. So you've got a lot of options there. All right. Also, with the Brizo, it comes with several plates. Okay. Now this is basically just a fan that turns on and off and regulates the temperature of your smoker. Hard to beat, right? One of these plates is what we're going to use, and also it comes with some heat resistant tape, so if you need to block up holes or whatnot, we're also going to be using that. So let's go over to the smoker. Let's install this thing, so hang tight. Okay, over at the smoker, this is an old country. This is the smokehouse smoker. They're hard to get now. I really like this thing. All right, you see I've got 3 analog gauges on it. I'm going to be cooking on the top So I'm gonna take this one out, and basically all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back this nut out and just come out the hole with it. And there we go. You see, I've taken it out. Okay, so the S1 has a wing nut. Doesn't get much simpler than that. And we're gonna spin the wing nut off. And I'm also gonna take the washer off. All right, I'm just going through the hole on this. I'm gonna put the washer up and run the wing nut tight. One thing I did find out, that ChefsTemp sells these without the puck in it, without the brains. Why would you want more than one? Well, if you got more than one smoker, all you got to do is you can move. You could leave this in this spot, which I probably am going to do. You take the brains. It's got, if you look right here, a little notch that this goes in, and turn it and it locks in, and then push and hold the power button, and there it is. It comes up. So let's get the Brizo, and I'll show you what it takes to hook it up. Okay, I'm down here where I can show you kind of what I got going on here. The smokehouse has 3 open vents, okay? I used the metallic tape to close off 2 of them, and then I used the larger bracket to close the 3rd one off over here on the side. And you can see it came with a smaller and a larger plate. I used the smaller plate behind it as kind of a shim to just hold it in place so it would be good and tight in there. So let me put the Brizo unit in, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, there we have it. That's the Brizo installed. Now all I've got to do is connect the power cord under here, and we're ready to go. This will link to that right there, and that's going to monitor how much air goes in, and that's going to regulate my temperature in the smoker. And there's not much left to do but build a fire and get cooking. Okay, well, we got our charcoal, which I usually use to start my fires with, and I got 1 stick of hickory end going. So I'm going to close it up. And you can see already the temperature is starting to climb. And let me show you what I'm going to do on the app. All right, you can see we've already hit 70 degrees ambient temperature. Now I do not have the meat in yet. I'm going to let the cooker warm up. I have set the low alarm for 220 degrees, the high alarm for 350. I don't want it to get up that high. Hopefully it's not going to do that. I'm going to go to smart setting. I want the target temperature to be 250 degrees, and I'm going to start the fan, and I hear it running. And also I'm going to turn my alarms on, and there it goes. I'm going to turn it back off till I get up to temperature, and I'll show you what I'm going to cook so it'll make sense on how I'm using this. Okay, you can see I've got, this is about 3 10-pound butts, so that's about 30 pounds of butts that I've got going. I seasoned them, put them in. I've got the ChefsTemp probe and the one on the front. I've got a fan going in the bottom. We haven't gotten up to temp. It's going to take a little bit with all that meat in it. And it's getting the water in the water pan up to temp. So it's going to take a little bit. We're cooking. Okay, 9 hours later, the ChefsTemp S1 said we hit temperature. I was looking for 205 degrees. If you've ever cooked a butt and the bone comes out that clean, you know she's done. I verified this temperature by 2 other means that I know are accurate, and it was dead bang on, both of it. So let's talk about using the S1 with a vertical water smoker. Now, there were some things that I didn't really know before I used it. For instance, there are 3 things that balance out with that smokehouse smoker to get the temperature you want. The first is the air. How much vent you have, how much air you're putting through it. Okay? Now, the ChefsTemp unit does that perfect. But you also have fuel and about a 4-gallon water pan that also has a bearing on your temperature. So to begin with, I had to do a tap dance and pretty much relearn, because in the beginning I was fighting the ChefsTemp. You can't just load it with wood and water and then set what temperature you want and expect it to just maintain. Now, ChefsTemp, if you ever come out with one that'll load the wood and keep the water tank full, please let me know. But that's something with this type burner. A stick burner is going to do that, whether it's vertical or whether it's an offset. Was it hard to get adjusted to it? No, it really wasn't. What I had to do was I had to go back to the amount of fuel that I was putting in it and not put too much. The S1 would pick up the airflow and then cut back on it, and you would hear it cut on and off and on and off and on and off, trying to keep the temperature that I had it set. It did a real good job with that. The batteries on both did the entire cook, the whole 9 hours. I didn't have a problem with it. So, is this a good addition to whatever smoker you're going to use? Absolutely. I liked it. Is it something that I'll be using? Yeah, I will be. I'll be using it. So, the end thoughts on the ChefsTemp S1 is it is a fantastic unit. It is something you see. This is the pulled pork that I'm doing for an event actually tomorrow, and I'm still out here fairly late. about like normal, getting it ready. Again, is it something I would use? Absolutely. Is it gonna take some getting used to? Yeah. Most of the problems that I had, which really weren't problems, it was just, I didn't know what I was doing with it. And it's something you're gonna have to get used to, how it works with your cooker, regardless of which cooker you put it on, and then go from there. There's a learning curve with this unit. So, hey, thanks for looking at this unit with me, going through it, looking at the cook that we did. I appreciate it. Until next time, hey, hang tight and be good to one another. Hang tight.